Harbor seals don't tend to haul out on the beaches in this area a lot. They haul out more on the offshore rocks and such, or some
the
of
mouth of the Klamath.
Right, and the Klamath, yeah. So in areas where there's larger congregations, you will see them sometimes pupping right there in the groups if they're large haul-out areas. Yeah. But most of the rescues we do here it's a solitary pup all by itself on the beach looking very forlorn. So there's controversy, and unfortunately we didn't have a lot of time to put this together, so I'm not really remembering everything I put in here. Because there is a difference in coloration in harbor seal pups. You'll see everything from the pup that's almost black with a few white spots to a pup that's white with a few gray spots, and then the one other variation being a pure white pup that looks like a harp seal. Those are what we call a lanugo coat, which is a coat that they have in the uterus that typically they shed usually just prior to birth. Oh, don't do that. I was even working with you. This is a new computer, sorry. So pups with lanugo coats were considered to be premature, and in some cases they may be, and so sometimes they get a little more attention. They can be a little more delicate. But so this is just assessment of a pup on the beach, checking to see its reflexes, how alert it is, how well hydrated it is, and trying to make a quick determination of whether it's something that we're going to leave on the beach and observe, or whether it's something we're going to pick up. So these assessments are done obviously very rapidly, because you don't want to be the one that's there when mom comes up checking on it. So just a few fun pictures. And somebody probably recognizes that baby.
And the mom doesn't care like what the human scent on
the scent is not a big issue, no. No, it's mostly as far as recognition. She knows where she left it. They make vocalizations and kind of get back together. So, and again, during the phone assessment, a big part of it is knowing what you might be going out to see. So obviously this isn't a little harbor seal, so you kind of get an idea from the caller, who probably doesn't know the difference between an elephant seal and a harbor seal. Is it bigger than a bread box? Is it bigger than a calf? What does its skin look like? This happens to be a yearling elephant seal with skin disease. And we see a lot of those, and those can start coming in about the same time of year. This is another one. You can see the hole in his hide where he's got infection and essentially elephant seal acne. So, Janet, were you guys going to talk about kind of care once they get here? That's kind of where my slides are at.
Okay, Jenny was going to talk about that, and Stephen was going to talk about rescues on the beach.
Okay.
And I was going to just finish up.
Do you want to start with the rescues? As far as...
We're kind of at the care part of my slideshow, which I didn't let you know ahead of time.
Okay. I need to get to some paperwork. Basically, when a pup comes in, we approach it as, what are we doing for the first 36 hours? And that's kind of the way the treatment plans are designed. And rather than, I can kind of say what some of it is, but most importantly, I want folks to know where this information is located. So that if you are on a rescue, come in, what are the first things we want to do? And it's basically trying to hydrate the pup and regulate the temperature and make sure that it's not too hot or too cold. We start all the animals with 150 cc's of electrolytes, and possibly, or is it always, we give them a little dextrose?
Okay. Generally, the little babies, we do add it initially.
Okay. And over in the file cabinet, which is right where Caitlin is, just behind Janet, that is where
Down here by the computer.
a lot of important things live.
Can we
Jenny
flick
is
on a
holding
light?
The Harbor Seal Pup husbandry manual. Great information if you can take some time to read through that. It doesn't take that long, and it's got just a lot of really good stuff in it. But in the file
That right there,
cabinet,
and it lives
right
there.
behind Janet there, there's the Harbor Seal feeding schedule, and all the new folders for each animal that comes in has this information in it. And it's basically the way that we start them out. So, and that's going to be a tube feeding, which for folks who are new, you'll learn all about how to do tube feedings, on the first shifts that you do. So, with the arrival of the pup, you're going to check the condition of it. You can determine if it's alert, active, vocal, to just try to figure out where this animal's at. We weigh them, record the weight. We also do a length on them, and that's one of the intake procedures when the pups first come in. New pups always go indoors into this room that's just behind the screen there. They'll spend their first 7 to 10 days in there, and then we'll start transitioning them to the outside. They then go to the condo only in the daytime, and you'll see what the condo is outside. It's just an outdoor pen that's not completely exposed to the elements. And we bring them back in, and we just kind of slowly transition them out. Once they do make it to the outside pens, we don't want to bring them back in. Is there other stuff to add to the first?
What's the difference between the isolation room and the regular room? What would be your differential treatment?
Well, isolation, and there are some transmissible diseases like phocine, parvovirus, and some other infectious issues that can go through and wipe out the entire pup population. Marin has had situations where they've lost 50 out of 60 pups, and so those are very disappointing seasons. So when we have pups that potentially fit in those categories of contagious diseases, then the isolation room behind Jenny is where those pups go, and that way there's no air transfer. They're physically separated so that that they're the last animals you handle, and that you're not taking anything from that room to another room, that all the tubes that are being used have been sterilized and such. So,
and that would be a call that perhaps you would make on your first exam of the animal when it comes in.
And part of the intake that she didn't touch on is, I do a physical exam on every animal that comes into the center. Harbor Seal pups, typically if it's during my office hours at the clinic, will come there first, and I'll examine them. We do a blood draw on every animal that comes in. Sutter volunteers all of the blood work for us, so the blood's then taken there, then we can get a laboratory assessment of the animal, and then we develop a treatment plan if there's any medical treatment plan. If they're healthy pups that are just ready to kick right into the Harbor Seal protocol, then that, as Jenny said, it's very well spelled out. There really aren't any questions or any decision making that has to be made on volunteers' parts. It's there in black and white, and the only time that there's variation from that are when there are medical issues, like a pup that started vomiting its feeds, or a pup that's lethargic, or a pup that's gone hyperthermic, or anything like that. But again, I'm involved with the care of every animal, so to me they're hospitalized patients. They're just not smelling up my hospital. So